Hiroo Onoda was born in 1922 in the mountainous Kamikawa village of Japan. His family, though not samurai themselves, instilled in him the warrior code of Bushido honor, loyalty, and unwavering perseverance. These values, deeply ingrained from childhood, would shape his destiny in ways no one could have foreseen. Young Onoda, a spirited boy, embraced these ideals. He excelled in kendo, the art of Japanese swordsmanship, honing his discipline and physical prowess. Onoda's path diverged from his family's expectations. He chose not to join the family business, instead seeking employment at the age of 17 in a Chinese company. This experience exposed him to a world beyond Japan's borders, a world on the brink of war. Little did he know, this early independence foreshadowed the extraordinary isolation that awaited him. The year 1942 marked a turning point. Onoda was conscripted into the Imperial Japanese Army, his life taking a decisive turn. The values instilled in his youth found new purpose in the crucible of military training. He thrived on the rigorous physical demands, his determination echoing the samurai spirit. But it was his selection for a specialized unit, the Futamata branch, that would prove most significant. The Futamata trained soldiers in the art of guerrilla warfare. Onoda learned to blend into the jungle, to sabotage enemy lines, and to survive on his own. He became adept at improvisation, turning nature into his arsenal. These skills, honed to a razor's edge, would become his lifeline in the years to come. The war machine had forged him into a weapon, ready to serve his emperor with unwavering loyalty. December 1944. Onoda, now a second lieutenant, received his orders. He was to deploy to Lubang Island in the Philippines, a strategic outpost facing the advancing American forces. His mission was to disrupt the enemy by any means necessary, even if it meant fighting to the death. He was explicitly ordered to never surrender, a command etched into his very being. Onoda and his small band of soldiers fought fiercely against the American onslaught. They destroyed bridges, disrupted communications, and harassed the enemy with relentless guerrilla tactics. But the tide of war was turning. The Japanese forces were being pushed back, and Lubang Island was on the verge of falling. As American forces secured Lubang Island, Onoda and 3 fellow soldiers retreated into the dense jungle. They were cut off from their command, their only contact with the outside world through intermittent radio broadcasts. Weeks turned into months, then years. Still, they held on to their orders to never surrender, to fight to the last man. They believed the war was still raging, convinced that any news of surrender was enemy propaganda. Their existence became a desperate struggle for survival. They lived off the land, hunting wild animals, foraging for edible plants, and stealing from local villages when necessary. The jungle became their battlefield, their prison, and their only home. The isolation was profound, their world shrinking to the small band of brothers who shared their fate. 30 years of survival resilience and resourcefulness. Onoda's samurai spirit, forged in his youth and tempered by war, became his anchor. He refused to believe the war was over, clinging to the code of honor that forbade surrender. His mind, shaped by years of propaganda and isolation, rationalized every piece of evidence that contradicted his reality. He saw leaflets dropped by the Japanese government as enemy tricks. He dismissed encounters with search parties as elaborate deceptions. Onoda's survival was a testament to his ingenuity and resilience. He fashioned clothes from plant fibers, repaired his rifle with salvaged parts, and even devised a system to collect rainwater using bamboo. He lived in constant fear of discovery, his senses honed to detect any sign of danger. The jungle, once his enemy, became his reluctant provider, offering sustenance and concealment in equal measure. Whispers in the jungle. Attempts to reach Onoda. The world outside Lubang Island had moved on. Japan, rebuilt from the ashes of war, had long considered Onoda and his comrades lost. But whispers of their survival persisted. Occasional sightings by terrified villagers fueled the legend of the Japanese soldier still fighting World War II. Several attempts were made to bring them home. Family members recorded messages, pleading for their return. Japanese officials ventured into the jungle, calling out through loudspeakers, leaving leaflets and personal belongings. But Onoda remained unconvinced. He saw these attempts as cunning traps, his resolve hardening with each passing year. The world beyond the jungle seemed unreal, a distant dream that he could not afford to entertain. His loyalty to his emperor, his duty to his country, and his unwavering belief in his own reality kept him tethered to the past. A Student's Quest: Norio Suzuki's Discovery. In 1974, a young Japanese adventurer named Norio Suzuki embarked on a personal quest. He wanted to find Lieutenant Onoda, a panda, and the abominable snowman in that order. His journey took him to Lubang Island, where he ventured into the jungle, driven by a naive curiosity and a desire for adventure. He stumbled upon a makeshift shelter, meticulously camouflaged. It was Onoda's hideout. Suzuki's appearance, his casual demeanor, and stories of a changed world sowed the first seeds of doubt in Onoda's mind. He listened cautiously to this stranger who spoke of a Japan he no longer recognized. Suzuki promised to return, to bring with him proof of the war's end. Onoda's commanding officer, Major Yoshimi Taniguchi, relieved of duty and now a bookseller. Coming home, surrender, and a new life. Suzuki kept his word. He returned to Lubang Island with Major Taniguchi, who with tears in his eyes, read aloud the official orders declaring the war over and relieving Onoda of his duty. The weight of 30 years of isolation and struggle seemed to lift from Onoda's shoulders. He wept, the reality of his situation finally breaking through the wall of disbelief he had built around himself. On March 9, 1974, Onoda emerged from the jungle, still clad in his tattered uniform, his rifle still in his hand. He surrendered to the Philippine president, formally ending his personal war. His return to Japan was met with a mixture of awe and disbelief. He was a living relic of a bygone era, a symbol of both the devastating consequences of war and the indomitable spirit of survival. Legacy of a Soldier: Reflections on an Extraordinary Journey. Adjusting to life in a world that had changed beyond recognition was a challenge for Onoda. The Japan he returned to was a far cry from the one he left behind. He struggled to comprehend the pace of modern life, the technological advancements, and the cultural shifts that had taken place during his absence. Yet, he faced these challenges with the same stoicism and determination that had sustained him in the jungle. Onoda penned his autobiography, No Surrender: My 30 Years' War, a haunting account of his experiences. He moved to Brazil for a time, seeking solace in the familiarity of nature and the simplicity of rural life. He eventually returned to Japan, dedicating his life to sharing his story and instilling in young people the importance of patriotism, discipline, and the enduring strength of the human spirit. Hiroo Onoda's story is a complex tapestry woven from duty, delusion, and remarkable resilience. It serves as a reminder of the enduring power of belief, the profound impact of war on the human psyche, and the importance of understanding and reconciliation in a world forever marked by conflict.